Hi, Aaron's House friends. Some of you may not know who I am. My name is Nancy, and I'm usually on D night at Aaron's house. I don't know what nights you're on, but the thing is, now we're all here together under different circumstances. Do any of you remember how we did starfish breathing? And we use that breath sometimes when we're feeling upset or confused, and it helps us to calm down. Or if we're just grumpy, sometimes it helps us to calm down. And I thought maybe in this story I'm going to read to you that the people of this little town called Chelm may have benefited if they knew how to do the starfish breath. And I learned something just yesterday that starfish actually breathe through their feet. They have little suction cups on the bottom of their spiky feet, and that's how they breathe. They don't have gills like fish do. I just thought that was interesting. But to review our starfish breath that we use sometimes to help ourselves calm down, we only need our hand and maybe a finger from our other hand. And we only need to have just a regular breath. We don't have to breathe differently than we normally breathe. But it just helps us to breathe in a regular way. So if we practice just with one hand right now, it might help us to think about it when we think about the people in this story I'm going to read. So when you breathe in, your finger starts down at your wrists, and your whole in breath is in, 2, 3, 4, up to the top of your thumb, and out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. All the way down to your wrist. And then we could do it with the other hand. But for right now, I just wanted to remind you of what our starfish was. So this story is about people in a little town called Chelm. And there was no luck in that town. If something could go wrong, it did. The roofs of the houses always leaked, and the sidewalks were always cracked. The gardens grew only weeds. Nothing was ever right. Some people said luck comes and goes, but in Chelm's case, it never came. It only went. Others said there's no such thing as luck. The people of Chelm were certain that luck was real, and somewhere they had lost it. Whoops, there goes my page. They looked everywhere. They looked in their beds. They looked in their basements. They looked in their pants pockets. They looked in a pickle barrel. Pickle barrel? I don't have a pickle barrel. They looked in water wells, laundry baskets, but as luck would have it, they never found any anywhere. We never have any luck, they sighed. And so they gave up. They stopped building houses, delayed repairing sidewalks, and quit planting gardens. Then one day, a strange and beautiful woman came to town. No one had ever seen her before. She wore a large purple felt hat that covered her red hair. That is a lot of red hair, isn't it? And she wore a long green dress that matched her eyes. She told the people of Chelm that there was something better than luck. Better than luck? The people weren't sure they believed her, but they listened anyway. Having lost their luck, what else did they have to lose? Tomorrow at daybreak, the strange woman said, with a purple hat and green eyes. She informed the town. Butterflies of hope are going to fly into the town square. If you can manage to cover the butterflies with your hats, you will have hope. And hope is better than luck. Some of the townspeople thought the woman was crazy. Nothing was better than luck, but others weren't so sure. The next morning, just as the sun began to rise, the people of Chelm, who couldn't find any luck, went into the town square to look for hope. Just as the red-haired, green-eyed woman had said, clouds of colorful butterflies appeared. They landed on the ground, and for a few moments they just sat there. Their wings fluttered softly. The people were very quiet. I wonder if you've seen any butterflies yet this spring. I have. The one I saw kind of looked like this, but not that big. They gently placed their hats over the butterflies. There were silk top hats and woolen hats, black berets and bonnets with bows. There were felt fedoras and high hats with pink polka dots. There were fancy fur hats and silly straw hats with feathers, all covering the town square. "We have it," they all exclaimed. "Now we have hope." But just as they said those words, it began to rain. The drizzle became a downpour, and suddenly the people needed their hats. One by one, they took their silk top hats and woolen caps, their black berets and bonnets with bows, their felt fedoras and high hats with pink polka dots, their fancy fur hats, and their silly straw ones with feathers. One by one, the butterflies disappeared. They watched as the last person lifted his hat, and the very last butterfly flapped its wings and rose into the sky. "Now not only don't we have any luck," they sighed, "we have lost hope as well." At that very moment, the red-haired, green-eyed woman appeared once again. Her large-brimmed purple felt hat collected the raindrops and kept her hair dry. "Look under your hats," she whispered. The people were puzzled. They had seen the butterflies vanished into the clouds. They were certain that there was nothing under their hats, nothing under their black berets and bonnets with bows. The butterflies were gone, and with them were their last hope. As quickly as the rains had come, they stopped. The people lifted their hats, their fancy fur hats and silly straw ones with feathers, and they looked inside. Just as they had thought, there were no butterflies. "Look," they showed the mysterious woman, "nothing. There is nothing inside our hats." "Look again," she whispered, and then disappeared. The people looked under their hats, under their felt fedoras and high hats with polka dots. They could hardly believe it. The butterflies had gone, but they had left a trace of something. A fine, faint, shimmery powder. They saw it, the trace of the vanished butterflies. And that was all they needed. Hope. The people of Chelm started building houses, repairing sidewalks, and planting gardens. Sometimes their roofs still leaked and their sidewalks still cracked, but not always. Their gardens grew weeds, but also flowers and vegetables. The people of Chelm no longer looked for luck. They found something much better, and it was there all along, right under their hat.